Where did we start web services last time? Can anyone tell me? Yes. Once I finish web services, I will go into QTP. Is anyone here for SQL today, expecting SQL and got disappointed? Okay, you both. Other than you? Okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, let me finish that web services half an hour part. Anyone else? Because I need to finish, because there is one more thing I forgot to mention, and that is the interview question. And Alok has to answer that one time. And he asked me that, are you teaching this? Yes, I am teaching that. Yeah. What is the tool we were using in the last class? Can anyone tell me what is the tool? So please make it interactive. Anyone online too, please type in. Okay. So what is the tool we are using for web services testing? So SOAP SOAP is a technology. What is SOAP and what is SOAP UI? Now tell me the difference between SOA, SOAP, SOAP UI. Okay. Don't tell me just the full form. Tell me more. Yeah. What is SOA? Okay. 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 Service oriented architecture. Purja. Yes. Tell me more. Yeah. It is the architecture styles to design your applications, especially distributed applications. It is an architecture style. So there will be many applications which make one solution. So one will act as a consumer, one will act as a provider, one will act as a broker. So sometimes, yes, design mindset, design architecture style. Okay, so sometimes there might not be broker, but consumer and provider should be there. If there is no consumer, no provider, then there is no service oriented architecture. Okay, so web services are one way. So web services are based on what technology? Okay, that is a protocol too. We send XML in HTTP, we get back XML through HTTP. So XML is the technology where every web services are based. So that's why we call XML web services. Okay, if you use some other TCP IP byte format, then that is not a web service. So generally when we say web protocols, what are the web protocols? HTTP, XML and all this. When you use web thing, then it will become a web service. And when you use XML as your message thing, then it is XML web service. Then what is SOAP? Then I said that I am sending XML and I am getting XML. Then what is SOAP? FTP is not a service oriented architecture. Okay, FTP you are putting a file, but no one is service, no one is provider. FTP file transfer, you are transferring files. You are not getting solutions out of that. Okay, HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. Okay. What is SOAP? You missed my last class. XML is the message you have to send to this provider. XML is the message you get from the provider. But you put a nice envelope, right? That envelope is the SOAP. SOAP is an envelope format, a message format for sending your request and getting your response. Now what is SOAP UI? It's a testing tool to test SOAP based web services. Now you can send SOAP through that and get SOAP through that, and you can do validations. You can see the request, response and everything. Got it? Yeah, you missed my last class too. So everyone who missed the last class, what should they go through? These 2 recordings. Okay, please finish these 2 recordings as soon as possible before you get a web service interview. Okay, and this is the service actually I have been using. See, this is the service. So to test a service, what is the core document to read a web service? What is the Bible to know about a web service? WSDL, perfect. What does WSDL mean? Web service definition language. I am sorry actually most of you can't communicate, but please listen to those recordings. That is very important. Okay, web service definition language. Okay, I will finish this in 20 minutes, half hour. And then I will go to whatever you want because you have interest. That is top priority. Okay. Alright. So is SOAP UI tool free? There is free version and there is paid version also. Paid version is called SOAP UI Pro. So I am opening SOAP UI tool now. Okay. 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 This is a sample web service. There is a company called Web Services X.net, and they are creating. They created some sample web services. Okay. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. 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 Yeah. When you open a SOAP UI tool, it will look like this. Okay. Is everyone familiar? Anyone familiar with this one? And what is the first thing you will do? What is the first thing you will do? You will say new SOAP UI project. And in this project, you will say what is your project name. For example, I am doing currency conversion testing. Conversion testing. Then you have to give the path to the WSDL or WADL. Okay. And you will give the path. And you will say that create sample request. And create a test suite of this one, create a web service simulation. This is creating a mock service. This is creating a suite of all your requests, and you are creating a sample request. Okay. Okay. Now save this. WSDL document path. Anyone who is a provider will give you a WSDL path. See, this guy is website. He is providing web services. See, WSDL schema location. I took that path and copied there. That's it. This site, I searched this site, I know this. Think like if you know your provider, don't you know how he will provide you? Means if you are buying something from someone, if weather.com is giving Google something, wouldn't weather.com give him WSDL document? Path to WSDL document? Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay. Bear with me, I know most of you missed this one. Okay. 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 Do you see a request here? Do you see? Open this thing. Okay. Once you get this one, open this thing. Yes. This is what happens if you miss a class. I'm sorry. But you can always listen to the recording. What is this called? What is this? SOAP request, SOAP message. It's a SOAP message. Do I have the inputs here? Do I have the inputs? No. Now I will say from currency is USD and to currency is INR. Okay. Now I am sending the SOAP request to that guy. I need to get the response back. Okay. Can someone help her? Did I get a response? What is the response? What is the format of the response? SOAP. Again, it's a SOAP. And inside that is there my result? Is this the same rate today? Did anyone send money today? Okay. Alright. So that is the rate. Agree? Got it? Yeah. So you send a request, you get a response. SOAP request and response. So who will use this SOAP tomorrow? Who will send the SOAP and who will get the SOAP? What are those? Applications? They are applications. So do you see all this at all? No. But this is what they are doing. So tomorrow if one application is talking to another application, they will send a request like this and they will get a response like this. But no one will see that. Okay. I will just follow this one. Always. So tell someone if you have an interview tomorrow when you are using SOAP UI, you know how to use SOAP UI. What is the first thing you need? You need the WSDL document. Okay. And you will say create a test case. You will create a test case. Hold on, actually creating test. Okay, you can create you will have a request, and on this request, actually, I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, you have a request, just like how I had a request, you will have a request. For example, this request, actually, I can see creates a copy of this request. Let's see, show request editor. Okay, okay, all right. You can add this request to a test case, means you can create test cases. See, this is a test case. You are adding this request into the test case. See, this request came into this test case, and I created a load request also on this SOAP message. Okay, okay, okay. This is all which I have done when I started the project. When I gave the WSDL, I gave all these things, and that was there. Okay, all right. Now, in this testing, you want to do assertions. For example, this is my request. See, this is the request. Now I'm putting it as in a test case, test suite. There is a test case. I have a request. Now I want to do assertions. What are assertions? Confirmations or verifications. But if that fails, the test fails. Agreed? So I will add an assertion. I can say that I should get a valid SOAP response. When I give this, I should get a valid SOAP response. And when I give this, there should not be no SOAP fault. I shouldn't get a SOAP fault. I should get a SOAP valid response. Okay. And then I can say that it can contains, for example, 44. Means that is the rate I'm expecting today. That message should contain 44. Ignore case. That's it. Okay. Now let me run this test. Not SOAP fault failed, actually, because SOAP fault came. Because why? Did I put my inputs here? No, I didn't put my inputs here. USD INR. See, now I will run this test, and all the assertions passed. Do you see assertions? SOAP response, not a SOAP, and contains 44. You see that? Today's rate, I am testing that web service. I am testing that web service using this message, SOAP message. Okay, agreed. So that is how you do your functional testing. Okay. Did you use Altova to send a SOAP request to someone? You edited XML. Did you really send a SOAP request to someone? Did you call a web service in using Altova? No. You worked on your XML. You worked on your XML, but did you create a SOAP message? No. This is really communication. Altova is about working with your own XML. It's not about transferring. This is sending a request, HTTP request. Do you see that? When I click this one, it is sending this HTTP request, and I am getting this response back. Agreed? Okay. So don't compare it with Altova. Altova is the XML tool. You can work with XML, but SOAP UI is a web services tool, testing web services. Okay. So you can say that, for example, tomorrow when you go to a company, there might be security, there might be, you can make sure that whatever the SOAP you are getting is in compliance with some schema. Do you see schema somewhere? Schema compliance. You can give a schema and tell that whatever the SOAP is coming to me should be validated with that schema. So all the assertions you can do, and you can make an XPath match. You can tell that this many elements should be there in that XML. SOAP is a XML, right? It's an XML, right? SOAP is an XML too. So you can make sure that it can contain XPath. You can do a XQuery. You can do a query and say that it should match this one. For example, in this node, in this conversion rate, I can write a XPath query, XQuery, and I can say that this node should contain inside the value of this node should be 44.415. I can write a XQuery. Okay. So this is how you do SOAP testing. So is anyone will anyone practice after this? Okay. Okay, these are some of the basic validations, and if you want to do more, actually you can go here and find it out. Load testing, how do you do load testing? Same thing, I can do load testing on the SOAP thing. Here I have a load test, right? See, do you see number of, I opened this load test, and do you see number of requests, threads? Means I want to run this for 5 users, let's say 10 users, and strategy, it's variance, and interval is 60 seconds or 60 milliseconds, okay? and let's test this. See, I'm getting all so many requests. Did any request failed? Nothing failed until now. And I can see graphs. I can see some other graph. Okay. And this is throughput, right? Okay. All right. So you can do load testing also, but it's more about functionality. Okay. Remember that. Okay. Yeah. So tomorrow, whenever you have a web services interview, you have to go through those 2 recordings, and you will tell them that you have used SOAP UI tool to do the testing. You can read SOAP, you can understand SOAP, you can send a HTTP SOAP request using SOAP UI tool, or you can do directly, you can read some code, Java code which is using web service. I know how to read WSDL. I understand WSDL. What are the components of WSDL? What are the components of SOAP? Okay. I know what is XML, what is schema, everything. Then actually recently there is another technology coming up. What is that? Okay. Does anyone know what is the REST protocol? REST protocol. Okay. On REST. Different environments. For example, for smoke test you can create an environment. The basic smoke test will be done. Then for your real functional testing you will have a QA environment. Yes. Yes. By the time you get to UAT environment, everything should be finished, right? Otherwise your user will be finding your bugs or doing your job. Yes, everything is an environment. You will have an environment. See, for example, what is UAT stage? Last stage of testing, right? You agree with me? If you still have so many bugs in UAT stage, who is doing the testing? Your user is doing the testing, not you. Okay. So you have to fix the bugs by the time you go there. Going by environment to environment means every stage you will have an environment. Okay. Very good question. So the question again, how many, tell me the different environments in testing. For example, smoke test environment, functional testing environment, load testing environment, and for example, you will create copies of that environment to run regression tests separately because you want to run scripts throughout the day. So that will be different. Okay. Now, first thing, can anyone read this document? What is this document? Can anyone tell me what is this document? WSDL. How many services are there in this WSDL document? How many services are defined in this WSDL document? Do you see this one? Do you see what is this document? How can you say this is SOAP? How can you say this is SOAP? SOAP envelope. Everything is XML and HTML. Okay, HTML. Everything are forms of XML. Can you tell something is how something is an XML? How do you tell something is an XML? And which will have XML definition on the top. XML version 1.0 and any tags you want. Start and end tag should be there. That's it. Agree. Very good question. So this WSDL is there. Can you tell me how many services are there in this one? Can you tell how many services are there in this one? No. Okay, one service is there. How many ports it is exposed? Ports it is exposed. The same service is exposed 4 ways. Do you see currency? SOAP version 1.0, SOAP version 1.2. You can use HTTP GET, you can use HTTP POST. Okay. Now I am coming to this port, actually this service, SOAP service. I am using SOAP service now. Now go previously, actually go next. Okay. Now this service, can you anyone tell me what is the operation in this service? This is the service, right? This is the service currency converter soap. And in this there is a binding, right? And what is the operation? What does an operation mean? I agree. What does that mean? Is it a function or a method at that other end? Means that is a function or method at the other end, right? So this is the guy whom I have to call. Do you agree with me? This is the service. See, anywhere a web service defines that I am the service. I am exposed at this location. Do you see this location? I'm sorry for being harsh or anything. I sometimes do that. Yeah. This is the service, and this is the protocol I am being exposed on, and this is the location. Do you agree with me? Now, remember did I tell that we always should read the visual from the bottom? Why? Because come from top to down. Like go from read the top element. Service. A service will use a port. A port will have a binding. Yes, method or operation. Yes, perfect. So if you see this binding is tied to this operation. Do you see operation conversion rate? Now let's go into this operation conversion rate. Always go to the top. Do you see operation conversion rate? And inside this there is a documentation. Forget about the documentation. There is input message, output message. I know you are lost. Input message, output message. So now input message and output message. Okay. So this is the input message. So now what I'm trying to tell here is like my method. What is the method name? Can anyone tell me what is the method name? Anyone? Conversion rate. What are the inputs? I agree. What are the parameters of that one? From currency and to currency. Both are strings. Both are strings. That is what he is defining, right? If you see here, conversion rate, go here, go to the top of this one. I explained everything in the last class. That's why I'm not. See, there is from currency, there is to currency, and both should come from type currency. And what is type currency? Type currency is nothing but a string which should be a value from one of these. Restriction. Do you see restriction? XML schema restriction. When I explained schema, I told this one. So what does this conversion rate mean? It has two things. One is from currency to currency, and both are strings should come from this value. So string. This is the method name. So really you can think this as tomorrow you can think this like this: public void or void not void string conversion rate string from currency string to currency. Hold on, someone is asking. This is the method. Do you agree with me? This is the method which we need to send two parameters, string from currency to currency. Agreed? Yes. Okay. Now if someone think like tomorrow, if someone changed this method signature to do that, for example, string some other thing. Let's say date. You also need to pass. Tomorrow this guy provider is changing the service and he is adding a new parameter date. String date, you need to send current date, today's date. Will all the consumers work then? Are you seeing the point I'm trying to reach? For example, see the provider has a method, conversion rate. We have to send a call and we have to pass from currency to currency and we will get the currency rate. If this guy puts an extra parameter tomorrow, string date, our current application, will the current application work? Will the current application work? Same thing. For example, here I have Google. See, this Google is passing thing like zip code, and he will get the weather. Okay, he is going to get the weather from weather.com. If I pass the zip code, I will get. Tomorrow he says that don't pass me zip code and pass me something else along with it, like country name. Yeah, a city name or something. So will my current application work? No, it won't work. If he changes the signature, I won't work. So I am at the mercy of whom? The provider. Agree? So if the provider changes, everyone consumers has to change. For example, this guy created this service now. Weather.com created the services. He is told that if you send the zip, I will give you this. I will give you the weather. and he sold it to everyone in the world. Think like he sold it to 100 consumers. Now tomorrow his application business logic changed, that you can't find weather with just a zip code. You need to give me more, like city name or extra 4 digits. Now he said that zip code is 5 digits. Now tomorrow he is asking us extra 4 digits. Now all this 100 consumer has to change their application or not? Is this feasible idea? No. So that's why there is something wrong with SOAP protocol. What I am trying to reach here is like, so what kind of request we are sending? When we are sending a SOAP request, what kind of request it is? XML request, but HTTP request. In HTTP, what kind of request? Post. Because we are sending something. Do you agree with me? We are sending something. What are we sending here? If you see, what are we sending here? USD INR. You see this? We are sending a post message, and this is the post message. So when we send a post, we need a signature, because post has a signature. Post will have method signature. Okay, sorry. Okay, method signature. Tomorrow think like we only need to give get request. When you are sending a get request, do you send him an XML or something? No. But you can get response as XML, but don't have to send XML. So when you are doing get request, I said that you can use question mark and see, for example, here I can use question mark and say username equal to like this. What is this called? I told this in the first class. What is this called? I know this is all URL. I am only asking this part after question mark. Yes, query string. Yes, that part is called query string. Do you understand now why we need query string? To pass parameters input. To pass parameter. For example, tomorrow think like whether I see here this guy. Where is this service? Where is this service? This is the service, right? And I will say from equal to USD and to equal to INR. Is this a post request or get request? Is this a post request or get request? Get request. Get request. Post. Are you sending any message with him? You are only sending query string here. But are you sending any message or anything? So do you need SOAP or anything else? Do you need SOAP or anything else? So tomorrow, that's why, remember he created actually as a HTTP get also. Do you see HTTP get? Okay. So that's why there is a guy actually who worked on, see, the purpose of web is, if you have anything on the web, get it. You really shouldn't know where it is. You shouldn't know where it is and how to call that. If you are hard coding how to call that, then you are hard coding it. Means every consumer tomorrow is dependent on your mercy, your signature, right? Don't hard code. So that's why do not use post protocol much to get something. Here my duty is to get weather. Do you see here my duty is to get conversion rate. You see the meaning itself says I should use get. I should never use post. Post means you are giving someone. Am I giving weather.com something? Am I giving currency conversion something? No. Then why am I using post protocol? So web nowadays is telling that don't use post protocol much. That is the thing. Twitter.com. See, do you see Twitter.com? Everything is post. Just give your celebrity name. What is your celebrity ID? Tell me some ID. Amita, but senior version, right? I do not know if that is right. Okay. No. See. Okay, let's. Is this H? Okay. Okay. Am I posting here? Am I right? But see, it went as a get request. It didn't went as a post request. Do you see query string? Do you see this? Twitter uses everything as get request unless you log in and create a new post. Your Facebook uses everything as post request. That's why it is slow. It's hard coded. Everything is hard coded. See, I don't get Amitabh now. Where is G? No, it's query string. It's their string Q. They used Q. Okay. For example, no one is on Twitter. Okay, I don't want to say that. No. That is their whatever they mentioned. Their signature, Twitter signature. See Google Docs. Did I do a get request or a post request here? Get request. Hold on. What is happening to you? Twitter is slow. Okay. Say it again. Yeah. Sir. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Sir, yeah, I follow him. Yeah. So make everything as a get request. Do not use post request. If you don't use post request, is there any use of SOAP protocol? SOAP is nothing but your message format. You send SOAP, you make SOAP and you send it as a post and you get SOAP back. So so now web is telling that use only get request most. This protocol is called REST. REST means it's not a technology, it's not a tool or anything. It's nothing but architecture style. So when you design web, design in such a way that everything should be get request most, not post request. Okay, what is the REST protocol? Now let's go to Wikipedia. Okay. This is an interview question. Did you work on any REST web services? So web services which are not built using SOAP and which are built using GET technology is called, means HTTP GET request is called REST protocol. Say it again. Alright, you want me to write? Actually, I'm at the end of this one. So see, REST, representational state transfer, is a style of software architecture for distributed systems or hypermedia systems such as World Wide Web. This guy Roy Fielding, actually it is Fielding HTTP protocol. Okay. So you shouldn't use, the goal of REST protocol is don't use URLs much, use URIs much. What is the difference between URL and URI? Don't tell me the full forms. I want the difference between them. Okay, agreed. Okay. When you say Microsoft.com, see Microsoft.com, you'll get here Microsoft.com/enus and /default. What is this enus? Can anyone tell me? That is the folder on the server. That is the folder on the server where this page is, where this file is. So is this a locator or an identifier? Locator. See, when I go to C folder, think like if I go to C folder, if I go to downloads folder and then go to here, then go here, is this a locator or identifier? Locator. When I go to the path of it, that is called locator. Am I making sense here? So on Microsoft server, go to this folder and then go to this file. So is this a locator or identifier? Locator. Now again go to Twitter back. I don't like Twitter much, but is this a locator or identifier? Am I going to some path or I am giving a unique identifier? Unique identifier, but who will map this to some locator? The server. Twitter server will take this identifier and map it to a locator. Got it? So identifiers, because tomorrow, for example, this web service is today at this location. Tomorrow it will change to some other location. Tomorrow you will change another folder in that. If you give URL to your client, tomorrow if you change the folder architecture or something, you move to another server, will that call work? No. So which one is good, to use identifiers or locators? Identifiers. So REST protocol tells us that don't use URLs, use URIs. REST is not a protocol or anything, it's a style telling that, for example, tomorrow your company is going to build web services. Now let's start web services. And your boss will come and say that let's use SOAP. Then you'll come and say please don't use SOAP. Why? Because SOAP uses post protocol. Let's not use SOAP. Let's use only GET protocol and we'll use this style as REST style. What is this style called? REST style. And he will say that let's expose our URL to them. No, don't use URL. We will use URIs. So is this a style or some tool or anything? It's a style. It's an architecture style. SOAP is more used because world is not still accepting this. People are adamant, right? Means that's easy. Yes, if someone asks you that, do you know REST protocol? Yes, I know REST protocol. What does it mean? Read that. Representational state transfer. If I use more gets, if I use more URIs, then that is called REST protocol. Please write these notes and put it in email too. Okay. Okay. REST is very important. Remember, people are asking this one. Okay. Twitter is a good, but it's not a web service, right? It's not a web service. So you have to give web service. For example, okay, give me 1 second. Okay, they didn't give an example. RESTful web service is a simple web services implemented using HTTP and the principle of is a collection of resources. The base URI for the web service, only URI will be given, not URL, and you will only use mostly GET or something, okay, and you will never use SOAP. Got it? For example, you will use GET, put, post, delete, but he mentioned everything. So the GET method is the safe method. Do you see this? Do you see this? Same thing, right? They are explaining the same thing. Because REST is an architecture, unlike SOAP, which is a protocol. REST is an architecture, SOAP is a protocol. Do you see that? Okay. When a web service is built using REST architecture, it is called a RESTful web service. Because it can rest there. Why? Because we don't have to hard code things. Agree? Any sense? Did it make any sense? No? Okay. That's why when you see SOAP here, new SOAP project, WSDL or WADL. If it is a web project, you will have a WADL. You won't have WSDL. Now there won't be any WSDL for REST service. There will be only WADL. Let's say WADL. Yes, bye. Till the time we log in. But once you log in, it's post.
Yeah, post. So that's the reason Facebook is post.
Facebook, everything you have to log in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because it does not allow you to any search.
Because you have to pass your identity all the time. You have to pass your identity.
So how about Google search? It is get, because I type Facebook, so it's saying that Google.
It's get only. The first search is get only. Get only. Get only. Yeah. But Twitter, the complete application is designed on HTTP GET. Twitter uses HTTP GET most. When you click on a tweet, you are going to get the tweet because you are only sending URL string that a tweet ID. Right? So the Twitter website is based on REST architecture. I am telling that, but doesn't mean that it doesn't use post or anything. More GET, less post. Okay? Yeah. WADL is a web application description language, is a XML based file format that provides for it's like WSDL, but only for REST web services. So there won't be any WSDL, there won't be any SOAP in REST web services. There will be only WADL. Okay. WADL can be thought of as a REST equivalent of WSDL. Do you see that? Okay, but version 2.0 of WSDL can also describe a REST web service. There are two versions of WSDL 2, 1.0, 2.0, 1.1, 2.0. 2.0 can describe a REST web service too. That is end of web services. Did I make any sense about SOAP? Only provider can a Money, I didn't understand actually this one. So only, no, provide, yeah. Provider is sending the request, he is not posting. See, always get or post is from client. Who is asking whom? Am I sending a get request is, see, request is get or post. Never a response is get or post. Did I make any sense here? A request can be get, post, put, delete. A response is a response. There won't no type for response at all. Am I making sense? A request, a client request is either get, either post, either put, either delete. The response is just response. That's it. There are no types in responses. Okay. Yes, break time. Agree. So let's go back and have a break, and I have more 1 hour, and so I will ask one thing here. How many people we want? All right. Actually, I need to stop the webinar and started to create a new recording, but that's fine. Okay. See, there is web services wizard. Do you want to see? Yeah.
In QTP, when you're installing, it says they give a key number or something.
When you install, always don't run the license wizard. There is a license wizard. Don't run that. If you got license only, you have to run that. Otherwise, just skip that, and when you start it, it will say continue. For 30 days, it will say continue. If you are you installing QTP 11 or 10? 11. So at the end of the additional requirements will be there. Don't uncheck run license wizard. I will show that to you. Okay. Whenever you are installing QTP 11, the question here is about QTP 11 installation. For example, if you see here, do you see that extensibility? No. Tools. See additional installation requirement. This will run automatically after installation. QTP after installation. See, don't run the uncheck this. Don't run this. Okay. And then when you open it, click continue. That's it. Okay. All right. So everyone knows this one, right? QTP. So if I got a application, tell me some sample application. Hold on. Give me 1 second. You all know this site, right? Okay. For example, I want to record this one, and everyone knows record and running them. Okay. So how will I do that? Start record. Actually, anyone wants to try web services wizard too, they can try in QTP. Okay. Record, and I will say this is a web application. Say newtools.demo.com and Microsoft Internet Explorer. Okay. And I will go here. No QC, no QC, only QTP. Say it again. Is QC a test automation tool? What is QC? Bug defects and all this. So first we need to do testing, right, for that? Yeah, we launch it from QC and all this stuff. Yes, that is cool stuff. So I am recording. Everyone knows that I am recording, right? Okay. No, Alok is not here. Call him. Okay. All right. So now log out. Okay. So now what did I do? Can anyone tell me what is an action? What is an action in QTP? What is an action?
The steps we take.
Do you see there is a action 1? There is a action 1. Action is your set of steps. Set of steps. Action is like a method which encompasses all your steps. See, this is one action. You see this? This is one action. Okay. Action is nothing but set of steps. Today I will teach a small thing in QTP which is very important. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alright, if everyone can see me. A action is nothing but a parts of your testing. Like generally one action, whatever you record go into one action by default. You can create more actions. You can split an action. You can make an action reusable. You can call one action from another action. Did I make any sense? Okay. Action is nothing but like a method. Think like there is one method which has all these steps. Now you can create another method. You calling this method. You can create another method and call that method from this method. It's like a method, set of steps, reusable set of steps. Okay. So these are all steps. If I want to make an act, this or everything is by default action. Okay. Now I recorded everything, right? What is this one? Okay, object repository. What is object repository? Tell me what is object. It will keep all the objects. Okay, that's what you are telling me. Okay, it will. Okay. All right, agreed. For example, if you have something, think like you have something. Okay. Yeah. For example, I am recording this one, right? See, newtours.demo.com. Again, I will go here. newtours.demoaut.com. When I click this, when I'm recording, think like I'm recording, and when I enter something, this object automatically goes into object repository. Do you agree with me? If I didn't use this link, will it go into object repository? No, it won't go. Only the objects I am working on will go into the repository. Only the objects, see, if you go into my repository, if you see here, find flights, book flight, okay, and see welcome is there, see sign in is there, username is, password is there. Only 3 from this page came into that object repository. Why? Because I entered something into username, I entered something into password, and I clicked the sign in button. That's why these 3 things came. Will anything else come into my object repository? No. But is there a guarantee that you won't use anything else while running scripts? Is there any guarantee that okay, only the object repository elements will be used in testing? No, right? Tomorrow, see, I am recording this one, but I want to use something. For everything I can't record, right? And if you see a object, what is an object in QTP? Tell me what is an object. What is a test object? What is a runtime object? What is test object? What is a runtime object? Anyone? Anyone? Say it again. The feature that we test? No. Okay. Now, where is this object, page object? This page object? Where is this page object? Inside my object repository, right? Inside my object repository. See, I defined an object saying that this is a sign in. Name is sign in. Object is nothing but think like something you define and which we will use at runtime. For example, where is this one, the sign in definition? In the object repository. In the object repository I have this, and what are these properties, right? An object can have properties. No, it's not the step of action or anything. Object is nothing but anything on anything can be identified as an object. For example, I have this site, right? I have this site. This is an object. But how do I identify that? See, QTP should know that tomorrow you recorded that I should enter something here. QTP should know that while running. How will I identify this one? How will I identify? For that, what QTP has done is it created an object in object repository, and it said that the name is sign in, and the properties are this one. You see, I created a definition in the object repository. Am I making sense? No. No. See, tell me what is object repository in your perspective. Means when I record, I am creating object repository. Do you agree with me? When I am recording, I am creating the object repository. So what I am creating? What I am creating? Okay, no problem. For example, yeah, I recorded this one, right? Now I am running this one, right? So let me run this one. See, it went here. How did QTP know that it should enter that username in that one and password into that one? How did QTP know that?
It captured objects
From
from the runtime.
the runtime. So, yeah. So you know that first time when you record, it has to remember so that it has to do again. QTP has to remember you. For example, QTP has to, okay, no problem. QTP has to remember everything from this one, right? Whatever you clicked, whatever you did. What is the first thing I clicked? Go here. This one. First thing is I entered into this one. So it should remember this one to re-enter into this one. No problem. You can go and study. It's okay. Yeah. Okay. When I enter something into this one, you need to come back. Means QTP needs to come back and enter again into this one. Agree? So QTP creates a repository. It has a repository and it creates a repository. In the repository, it will create that username, telling that the name is username. It is a text one. It is on this page. Do you see this page? Welcome page. And it created a object saying that the name is this one, the type is text, name is this one, HTML tag is input. It is creating all the properties, name value, name value. So that tomorrow, and in the script it said that browser which has a title of this one and the page which has a title of this one, and find out a tag with the username, find out the object username. But where is username defined? Do you see? Username is defined here. It is telling that go, I created it, this is definition. Do you agree with me? This is a definition. Anything which has the definition similar to this one, anything which has to make it and put a value, my username into that one. Now when I am running this, this is VB script, right? Does everyone agrees that this is VB script? When I run this, QTP will launch the home page, right? QTP will launch the home page. Then it will, then it will come to this one. So when I launched this, it will go and see if the page is this one. Okay, I'm very sorry, I hit this test results. Yeah, it will see when it launches the home page, it will go and see this is the page and find an element with this object definition. Where did I create this definition? Inside here. So find an element, what the name should be username and the HTML tag type should be input and the type should be text. Find that element on that page using this definition. Do you agree with me? So what is this? Is this definition or real object? Definition. This is called test object. TO. Get TO property, get RO property, set RO property, get, no idea? Okay, no problem, we'll get there. Okay, if you don't have an idea, we'll get there. Yeah, don't worry. Okay, so this is the definition. This is how QTP is finding out that is the text box I have to enter into that one. So this definition is called test object. So if there is no object in the object repository, can QTP find that? Very good, it can't find that. If there is no object in the object repository, can I find it on the page? No. So if I don't, so how will be the objects created into object repository? When I do recording, if I use something, that object will be automatically created. Agreed? If I don't use something, will it be created? No. So if I don't use while recording, that object is not created in the object repository. So can I use it at the runtime? Runtime means while running. Okay. So now remember, there is another definition called, this is called test object. Test object is the definition. At the runtime, see, at the runtime, it goes into that text box. The text box, that is real text box, right? That is called runtime object. Test time object is the definition, runtime object is the real object. Am I making sense here? The definition is called test object because I wrote the definition. This is the definition how to identify the text box. But when I am identifying the real object, that is the runtime object. Did I make sense? So how many types of objects are there in QTP? Tell me. Two types. What are those? Test and runtime. Yes, perfect. So now think like, while recording, for example, tomorrow actually, there might be a checkbox here, forgot password or something like that. I didn't use it in the while recording. But now I want to use that in runtime. Can I use that? Can I use that? No, not at runtime. When I don't use it at recording, I cannot use it runtime. So how should I, but I don't want to do recording again. How should I add this? How should I add a new object into repository? There is a way actually. Can anyone tell me? How will I add a new object into the repository? Is everyone following? Is it interesting, boring? Vinas? How? What is that guy called? What is that guy called? Object spy. Spy is the guy where you can go when you click that. For example, I want to add. For example, you mean here? Yeah. For example, yes, same thing will open. If I say, it will open the same thing. Means, but I want to show it from the tool. Yeah. Same, but the tool is called, what is the tool? What is the tool called? Object spy. If you want to add objects to your repository, what is the tool called? Object spy. So how will you do that? See, what I am teaching now, object repository, object spy, I really don't like them. That is why I am teaching that don't use them. Because you will see descriptive program. My goal is to teach you descriptive programming. Okay? Yeah. Now, for example, tell me one of, see, while recording, see, while recording, they don't talk for me. Okay. Did I use this checkbox? Did I use this, or did I use this calendar or anything? I didn't use it. But now I want to use it means during recording I didn't use that button. Now, but I want that object into my repository. How will I do that? You'll go to QTP. Do you see that? And go to tools, and see, do you see object spy? When you click this, automatically it will open this thing. And do you see this pointer? Hand means QTP is telling point this hand to anywhere. I will put that object into my repository. Now I will come here, see, do you see this? For example, anywhere you go, do you see all this object property? Do you see these properties coming up? Actually, when you do cancel, it will go away. So let's put this in the right time, right side. Now I will say this object. Okay. Now if you see, it didn't add it to the repository yet. Okay. Now it went to, so what is this object? A object has many parents objects too. This object is a radio group inside the web table, inside this web table, inside this web table, inside this web table. And if you see this inside this page and in this browser, now what are the properties of that? This is the position, height is this one, and if you go and see, HTML tag is input and the name is trip type. Do you see trip type? Right? And these are all the properties. Now I will say add object to repository. Now add this object to my repository. Close. Let's go into our repository and see if this object came. On which page is this one? This one, right? Find a flight, right? See, do you see trip type now? Do you see trip type? So now the object came into my repository. Now can I use it here? Where is that actually? Here, right? In this one. Now, hold on. Come on. Yeah, trip type. Do I need the, can anyone tell me what is this step? When you enter new time, when you enter username and password for the first time, Internet Explorer will open up a pop-up saying that do you want to save this and stuff. Do I need that in the recording? But it created this object also in my repository, right? Do I need that object in my repository? So don't mess up your object repository. So first thing is, where is that auto password and all this stuff? See this autocomplete box. Do I need that in my repository? No, let's delete that. Why are we wasting our memory? And why are we, because this object repository will be searched at runtime to find out that, right? Okay. Now I don't want that. Okay. Now I want to use in the object repository, there is something in the object, in the find a flight, there is trip type. Do you see this? Trip type. I want to select this. Instead of this one, I want to select this one. Okay. Now let's say after sign in, this is the right, this is the one, select London. On the from port, find a flight. Do you see web radio button? Come on. Do you see web radio button? Do you see web radio group? See this type is web radio group, right? If you see I am looking at this object. This is web radio group. And now what is the name of this one? Trip type automatically came. Did I write anything? See here when I did just bracket and space. Automatically, because it knows that it went into object repository and searched and wrote it for me. IntelliSense also comes from object repository. Okay. Now, and I will say that dot click. Got it? Okay. Now let's see. Let's run this. I didn't select that actually. Okay. Let's find something else. But you understood what I did, right? Okay. Is everyone clear now what is object repository and how we use objects? So anything we are writing here should be defined in the object repository. Otherwise it won't work. Okay. You can do that at recording. You can do that after recording or anywhere you want. You agree with me? Everyone online. Any questions about this? Any questions? You have to use it. See, you won't record for everything, right? Right? You won't record each and single piece of object you cannot record. So for example, now for example, I did this recording. Now I want to do it for one way. Do I have to do recording again every time? Yeah, just add that object to the repository and change your script. Right? Advanced QTP. We are in advanced QTP. Okay? We are in advanced QTP class. Right? We don't want to do everything manually. Like if you are recording a script for every scenario, what is the use of it? It's similar to manual testing. Yeah. Yeah, that to the object and use it. Yes, we have to do the scripting. Yes. Yes. If you are a QTP tester, you have to do the scripting. What is this bouncer? Holy money. Actually, if you are saying this is bouncer, then if I teach Selenium, then what will happen? Yeah, tell me what happened. Just speak out. Is this too
It is
much?
just, as frankly speaking,
So
maybe it is too much right now. Maybe when I sit there and go through the recordings, it'll be a little better.
yeah, perfect. Agree. See, this is not end of it. Means you have so much time to learn. But this is where the technology is. Means if you once you just need to go through once. So every time you won't go to recording and record that scene. And now I want to do one way and I want to do one from different city to different city. So you can't do like we have to add stuff into script. To add something into the script, where do we need that object into? Okay, now let me ask you interview questions. What is object repository? Tell me.
It's the various objects that are there on the UI. It's basically a repository that counts out all the objects that are there in the UI that are expected by the
Yes, all the elements of the UI which you want to use them from your script. The object repository is a repository of objects. So whatever is in the object, is it called test object or runtime object? Test object. Whatever is in your object repository, it is called a test object. TO. Remember TO when I'm saying this because I will use some methods. Okay. Now, if you don't, so how do you add objects into repository? You think like you are answering this to an interviewer. First way is when you record, every object will come into the object repository. If I want to use something else, I will go into object spy and I will identify that and I will add it to the object repository. Okay, there are two ways. Then so if there is no object in object repository, can you use it in the script? No. So actually, why do we need object repository at all? What is the use of object repository?
It is a log of all the objects.
Why? Yeah, I agree. Why do we need that?
So that so we can reuse.
We can reuse for what?
So we know the path accordingly. We can execute the action.
To identify the real object at the runtime. These are nothing but definitions which are used to identify the real object at runtime. That is the purpose of object repository. You are writing a definition for each element you are clicking and putting into your repository. You will use this definition while running to identify that object. Okay, I have to write this, but now I am in no mood to write anything. Tomorrow. Okay, next class. Means generally I means that's what I had a means I need to write all these definitions, but from next time. Okay, remember me from next time. Okay, but it's in recording. If you listen to recording, it won't go away. Yeah. All right. So now you understand what is the use of object repository and how do we add into object repository and what are these objects called, and then for example I have an object in object repository, then what will you do? He will ask you that I recorded, interviewer will like when it is an interview he will ask like that, I recorded for round trip, now I want to do it for one way, what will you do? What will you do? Add the extra objects using object spy into my object repository, then I will go into the script and modify my script to accordingly for one way scenario and use the objects as needed, and then I will run it. Agree? Come on, don't say this is too much, okay?
This is called script. Object script.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is called script.
This is the script. This is your script. Say it again. No, not right now. Right now we didn't do anything. See, all I did is like dot dot. Yes, that is what we are going to learn from now. Okay, this is the first object. Yes, then you are using the object here. Am I right? Didn't I use the trip type? Okay, now telling that, read this script and tell me. First thing is, this is a browser and this is the page, right? And you are finding a web edit button. Web edit means anything which you can edit. What is that thing? Text box. And go and find the definition of that one from where? Username. If you find that, set the value of that to this one. Agreed? And again on the same page, find web edit password, and this is, put this password in this. Is this the password I put it in this one? No, this is encrypted. That is why it is telling set secure, not just set secure. Okay. Now on this page, go and find an image which has a name, sign in, take the definition from where? Object repository and click it. Agree? Because if it is an image, you need coordinates, X and Y coordinates. Okay. And then I'm telling, go and find the web radio group, radio button group with this name and click this one. Actually, radio button group. Okay, let me find, because I'm not clicking this right. Okay. Okay, hold on. Someone should have written this already. Okay. Yeah, one way. Okay, one way. Yeah, one way. Dot click. Dot select one way. Alright. Now select one way. Got it? Means on the radio button which is having the definition from this one, select one way, not the round trip. Now let's run this, it will really select the one way. But while recording, what did I use? Round trip. While recording I used round trip, but now I am using, come on. Yes, yeah, but that is one way. Now we are going more now. Don't use object repository now. Did it select one way? Yeah, okay. I didn't flip it. No, no, no. By default it is round trip. By default it is round trip. That's why we got round trip. Now we added that object into, that's it is default. We never changed that actually. By default it was round trip. Why means when you're testing, you have to test all the cases, right? One way, two way, three way, like all this one. No, there is no three way. Yeah. Yeah. Because to run this, you don't have to record everything and make new scripts for every scenario and this, because the reusability of script is more needed. For example, you can say this one. For example, now I will say variable dim my way. This is writing VB script. Okay, is equal to one way. Okay. Dim means I am declaring a variable. Okay. See, now I have the script one way. It is taking this from my variable. Do you see this? It goes into that variable and it will take it from there. Syntax error. Why? Okay. Very sorry. Remember how much I know in QTP, you know the same thing. Because I never used QTP for work. I only did 2 or 3 classes before. Yes. So if I can tell something, you can also know something. Okay. Yeah. If I can do VB script now, you can do VB script too. Am I making sense? Okay. Here, see, I wrote a variable and I will say this as one way. Means tomorrow, my variable 2, I am using it here. Okay. Did anyone understand what did I do? Instead of putting right away in the statement, I created a variable on the top. Right? I see one way selected. That's it. My job is done. I don't want to more. Okay. Yeah. See, instead of I created a variable on the top, means, because why means tomorrow I write my script like this. What is the advantage? Now, for example, now I have to do testing. Now let's say, okay, we will come into the script and say, let's do, today I will do round way trip. Okay, round way trip. And tomorrow, like, you just need to change this and your script is doing all this for you. How flexible? That is variable. That is VB script. That is VB script. You can create a variable. You can create a variable, and I said my variable equal to, sorry, my variable equal to, and I created the variable, and that's it. Done. Now tomorrow if you want to do round way. So put your variables on the top and make your script depend on the variables. Am I hard coding this now? No. Okay, this is one way. Yes, now do you see why do I need to learn VB script? Why do I need to learn some advanced concepts? Because with one script you can test the whole application. You don't need to record hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of scripts and do that. So a QTP expert is someone who has less scripts and more work. Rather than more scripts, means don't create many scripts. Our goal is what? Make small scripts, means make a script and make it used for all the test cases. As many as you can. Because the maintenance will get reduced. If you have minimum scripts, what is the advantage? Maintenance will be reduced. You are making this data driven. You are storing data separately. You are not hard coding the data. There are many testing frameworks. Does you know what is a testing framework mean? Okay. Let me tell you. They will ask you what is a testing framework. Hold on. Yes, test automation framework. What is a testing framework? First thing when someone goes into testing, he will do what? Record, play. Agreed? So will it satisfy every test case and everything? No, it won't satisfy every test case and everything. Then, for example, now I got one way scenario. For two, like round way, I have to record again. For something else, I have to record again. So this is one thing. That is the basic one. Don't do that. Then, test script modularity. Test script means you will write small scripts. For example, this login steps. These two steps are login, right? These three steps are login. Do you agree with me? You can put this separately into something and reuse it everywhere. For example, if you want to check one way, two way, buying so many flights, and every scenario needs login, right? First you have to log in only, then you will go into other test scenarios. There might be many test scenarios for each page. Everything needs login. So if you record 100 scripts, if you are writing these three steps 100 times, what is the use of it? Write it at some place in a function and call that function every time here. Right? Reusability. Agree? So that's why you need to know VB script and you need to write functions. That is called test script modularity, making it modular. Okay? Now you need to create a library of these scripts. Sometimes there might be, for example, you need to write VB script for connecting to database. You need to write VB script for connecting to database or reading a Excel file or something. This can be used in every action, right? Means what is an action now? This is current action, one action. Do you see? This is fine. I don't have to put these three things into one action. I can put it somewhere globally function and I can use it in every action or every script. A script can contain many actions. By default, QTP will create one action for you. A test can contain many actions. And you can use a function throughout many scripts. Am I making sense? Okay. So you need to write function libraries too. That we won't go that far. Don't worry about test library. And data driven test. Always don't put your data into script. Here, where is my data? I'm putting London here. I'm putting Portland here. My data is hard coded into script. Never do that. Write data separately. Write in a text file, Excel file. Get it from database. Don't hard code it directly. Then how do I get that? Write VB script. To talk to the file, to talk to the Excel file, to talk to the XML file, to talk to the database. Write VB script. So separate data from functionality. That is called what? Data driven testing. That's why when in an interview, did you do data driven testing? Yes, I did. I put all my data in text files. I put all my data in Excel files. I put all my data, I get all the data from database. I never hard coded it in my script. Script. Okay. And then there is keyword driven testing. Actually, QTP is a keyword driven testing. Does anyone know that? Keyword driven. Because it uses names and all this to find out those things. That is why keyword driven. Okay. 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 Read what is keyword driven testing. Okay. So now, then there is hybrid. Hybrid means Will you ever directly just record and play all the tests? No. Do you have to write variables and functions? Maybe. And do you have to write libraries sometimes? Maybe. Do you have to do data driven testing? Maybe. So in a project, can you do testing using only one methodology? No. I might need more than one. That is called hybrid automation framework. So they will ask you what kind of framework you used. I used first recording and playing, then I made my test modular, then I made libraries, then I did data driven, then I used QTP which is keyword based, and mine is a hybrid model. Nice answer, right? But you need to, yeah. Yes. When you come to my class, there will be too much of information. Say it again. You need to learn it. Now the interview question is types of automation frameworks. Go and read that question. Automation frameworks. Did you hear this somewhere? Any interview or anything? Apple. See, Apple asked this question. Okay. So if you want to be placed in Apple and if you want to get free MacBooks, iPads and iPods, you have to read this. For not for consultants but full time, right? Really? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That makes me happy actually. Okay. Yeah, not only Apple, any company you want. Okay. So now you know what to use, right? So this is not about QTP, what I just told you, test automation framework. It is about every tool. It's not, testing doesn't get stops when you finish recording and running. Yes, this document I will send it to everyone, okay? Okay, test automation framework. I will send this. I will send the recording, and the next class is actually I want to do more classes because I'm not getting time to finish them. And actually